George Berkeley of the Principle of Human Knowledge. Today, I will be summarizing George Berkeley's The Principle of Human Knowledge. George starts off with the senses. We use these to see different things, color, smell, and put them all together to create one distinct thing. The example of this, an apple, we see it, smell it, and can taste it, and all of these senses are combined to create this one distinct thing. We use our mind, spirit, soul, or myself to perceive them. For the existence of an idea consists in being perceived. We know something exists because of our senses, but we also need the mind to perceive them should things still exist if we are not there to perceive them. He then goes on to talk about abstraction. Abstraction is to separate each sense from the object. So it is possible for me to conceive in my thoughts any sensible thing or object distinct from the sensation or perception of it. Example, the smell of a rose without a rose. Then he brings up what is perceivable and what is not perceivable. That there is being is to be perceived or known, that consequently, so long as they are not actually perceived by me or do not exist in my mind, or that any other created spirit, they must either have no existence at all. He is saying nothing is perceivable without the mind. If we look back, never so little into our thought, we shall first find it impossible for us to conceive a likeness except only between our ideas. George then brings up the primary and secondary qualities. Primary qualities are patterns or images that exist without the mind in an unthinking substance, which they call matter. Secondary qualities are other sensible qualities, such as colors, sounds, tastes, and so forth. You can't have the primary qualities without the secondary. Without the secondary substance, the primary cannot be perceived, which means that the primary must also require the mind to be perceived. He then brings up the concept of abstract ideas. Example of this is unity. When thinking of unity, everybody has their own idea of it, and how the mind is needed to determine things specifically for you, because there is no pattern for that. The same body which appears cold to one hand seems warm to another. To prove that colors, taste, etc. exist only in the mind. George Berkeley then brings up key concepts like material substance and external bodies. Since we cannot define material substance, motion, figure, other sensible qualities, does it not suppose that they can exist without the mind? You cannot perceive senses without the mind. Knowledge of all external things must come down to reason. You can't perceive these things you don't see due to the reason. Example, trees in a park that you cannot see. These are external bodies. But George brings up this point. Things can't exist if you don't see them. I insist to wit that absolute existence of unthinking things are words without meaning, or which include a contradiction. Yet still our ideas are certainly no idea, whether faint or strong, can exist otherwise than in the mind receiving it. It is evident that every vegetable, star, mineral, and general, each part of the mundane system is as much real by being principles as by any other. Finally, George Berkeley leaves us with one final note. Assert the evidence of senses as high as you can please, that what I see, hear, and see doth exist, that is to say, perceived by me. I no more doubt than I do my own being. All of these quotes were taken from the book by Berkeley George. Thank you.